Good morning. All right, so we'll get started. Okay, so in the last class, we talked about line chart, we talked about area chart, we talked about what else? Uh, I don't remember what else we talked. So today we will discuss about bubble chart, tree maps. We'll talk about box plots. We will talk about line charts. So all those things, we will discuss today. Uh, yeah, line chart we have already discussed. So let me see what all is left. Okay, we will talk about dual axis. Aggregation is done, weight calculation is done, filters are done. Uh, Crosstab we will discuss, scatter plot we will discuss, bullet graph, tree map, histograms, okay, and dual axis. So, so dual axis in the sense like if you want two different measures on the same graph, right? In that case, and if these two measures are at different scale, then how do you manage that? So for example, let me take sales and let me take quantity. These are two different scales altogether, and I want to see it by date. Okay. I want to compare like how over the period of time my sales as well as the quantity is are changing, right? So so for that, what I will do is I'll take years in the column and I'll put it here. So this is how it will look, two line chart, but it is not looking good, right? So you cannot have a proper comparison. So what you can do is go to quantity or any other variable and convert that into a dual axis. Where is that? Yeah. So I'm bringing quantity here. I want quantity to be as a dual axis. Yeah. Now, if you see here, this is at a different scale. These are in 100K, 200, 300K. Sales is in different, uh, the sales are in different scale and the quantity it's in different scale. So you cannot have one scale, for comparing these two measures. So you need to have two different scales to measure that to understand how the trend is when it comes to quantity as well as sales. And if you find you will find here we were finding a very good insight saying that the quantity and the sales they are kind of both are showing the similar patterns, right? If I drill down further, this is by quarter. Uh, okay. Let me drop this. Okay, this is by month. If I want month and year both together, then I will take this. This makes sense. Yeah, so now if you see here, this is how you can compare. Like if I am selling more quantity, is my sales are increasing? Obviously, there would be a direct relationship between the quantity sold and the sales. Okay, and but if you want to uh, find out if there is a good correlation between these two features, then you can have this dual axis where the quantity can be analyzed by this particular axis. For example, here, so instead of looking at this axis for quantity, you have to look at this axis. Like quantity here is 1820 At this point, the sales is around 118,000. Okay, so which you can have to analyze by this particular axis. So this is how it's very simple. You just drop both the measures here, and one of the measures you make it as a dual axis. So that's about the dual axis. Now let's look at to the tree maps. So tree map, make sure that there are no negative values in the measures because negative values cannot be seen in the tree map. And the tree map is good, like if you want to find out like how much. Uh, so if you go here and convert that into tree map, yeah, this is how the tree map look like. And wherever there is a darker shade or the size of the box is uh, bigger, then that means there we are having a more sales. And in this, you can add more dimensions also to this. For example, I took a subcategory here. Let me add a category into the colors because the size is telling me the basically the sales. Okay, about the sales. So again, I don't want a color, to again depict the same measure. So instead of that colors, I added, for categories. So phones which are in technology category, it is having the highest sales because of the size, and then followed with machines and then accessories and the storage and the binders are again, these are the two big subcategories where you are getting more sales, right? So this is how, you can use a tree map. Why it is known as tree map is, for example, this particular red box. This entire red box is for category. Inside that, there is some kind of division, okay, some kind of split happening, in of this particular box with respect to the subcategories and the sales. So the size will tell you the sales of that particular subcategory, and collectively it will represent the entire category. So and if let's suppose instead of category, you can even add some more dimension to it. Okay. So now this is one single color. Okay. And the size is telling you about the sales. Let's add profit to the color. So here, the darker the blue color, the higher the profit is. So at once, you can just quickly look at it and see that this chair is having the higher profit because the color, the gradient of this particular box is uh, darker than any other box here, then followed with the phones, okay, and so forth, right? And you can easily identify if there are some kind of anomalies where the profits are negative, like these tables. Though there is a high sales, but the profit is less. So this is again a good chart, but again, you have to remember that if you have more number of categories, then tree map is not the right chart to use because if you have more categories, then the smaller categories will not be seen. So only the categories which are having the higher sales values will be seen in this tree map, while the small categories which are having a very low sales cannot be seen through this chart. Okay. So that's about the tree map. And please, guys, stop me if you have any questions anywhere. Now, box plot, you all know. Box plot is basically used to find out the distribution and find out if there are any kind of outliers in the data, right? So if I put it as sales, okay, and this sales, I want to see it, let's suppose, by subcategory. Subcategory, there are more categories. Instead of subcategory, let me take the category. Okay, this will help you out. Sorry. Mm, So this is how it looks like. So basically, all these sales for the furniture and the office supplies, it's a completely skewed data. You have it's starting from zero, sales um, from for all these different transaction levels, and then you have some outliers. So instead of that, let me take some other dimension here, uh, quantity. Category and what are the details? Yeah, this looks good. See all the observations. Okay, these dots are nothing but the observations. So I've took as a row ID. Now this gives a very good comparison, like how the distribution is. Like for office supplies, it is quite skewed, and you have a lot of outliers on the higher side. Okay, with the mean or with the median of around, see here you will get it with the five quantity, okay, on the office supplies. On the technology, it is four, median is four, and for here it is also four. So you can see that like how the quantities are getting sold for each of these categories and which are similar, where we are getting outliers. So somebody who is having a statistical understanding as a business user, for them, you can have this kind of box plot graph. Otherwise, you have to explain how to read this particular graph. So here, as you hover your cursor onto these points, it will give you all the details about what is that order ID and what is the quantity, how much quantity sold, okay, in that. So with a single click of button, you can have the chart, but you need to understand how to place the variables, right? So firstly, you need to understand on which you want to analyze the distribution. So you have to select one measure, okay? So that is I'm taking as a quantity, and and how you want to compare these quantity. So I want to compare with categories, and what all points you want. Okay, you points I want it by the order ID. Okay, that's something. If you want to analyze it by some other, for example, uh, segment segment, if you put it as detail, so by the segment you can analyze like, okay, these are the three uh, uh, segments, like, okay, consumer, corporate, and the home office, how the distribution looks like for these three. Okay, so that's something you can show. If I put it as product ID, okay, this is how it looks. Okay, so you need to understand how you would like to analyze the data, and based on that, you can able to analyze. So here the median is quite in center, so that means, but here it is little bit on the lower side, so this you can consider as a right skewed, okay, data. But overall, these two looks like to be as a normal distribution because you have very few observations uh, on the upper side of the upper whisker. Okay, so this is known as upper whisker. This is known as upper hinge. This is the median. This is the lower hinge, and this is the lower whisker. Okay, and if you want to swap it, you just use this particular feature. It will show you the horizontal box plots. So this is much more easier for you to analyze it, like because here you can align the medians, align the hinges and the whiskers, and then you can understand, uh, where the quantities are being sold less or higher. Okay. Any questions, guys? Okay, now I will show you some interesting charts. So see, you have to just a creative chart. I will show you quantity, and I will take subcategory. Okay, and here I will also add again quantity, and this quantity I will take it as dual axis. Okay, and here if you go, uh, I'll make it as bar. Okay, and this bar size I will reduce it. So this looks like this bar graph is called as a lollipop graph because it looks like lollipop, and here you can change the color to some other color. Okay. So this is a kind of a creative chart which you can draw, you know. So here I've taken even this uh, circle is also giving me the quantity, and even this bar is also giving me the quantity. I just took the two same measures, but I changed the type of one of the on one of the axes. I changed the uh, type of that chart. So for one on one axis I took it as a circle, in another axis I took it as a bar. So this is called as a lollipop chart. Okay, so you can go even more creative. Instead of this particular circles, you can add images also here. For example, if you want to compare the sales of multiple brands, so you can put a logo of these brands here in the circle, okay, as a circle in the place of circle, and then just by looking at those uh, I would say images, people, the business user will understand, like, what is the uh, sales or how much quantity has been sold for that particular brand. Okay. Pretty much we are covered. So these are the important charts which you need to and pie chart is very simple. Okay, just you take any dimension and show it by subcategory or category. You need one measure and one dimension here. So if you go and select the pie chart, so initially it will give you a very small pie chart, but you have to go it and say that entire view. Okay, it will look like this. And then you can add labels to it. For example, subcategory, I'll put it into labels. So this is how it looks like. And if you also want the sales also to be seen here, you put it in the labels. So this is how your pie chart would look like. But the pie chart is not recommended nowadays. Nobody uses pie chart until unless you have three very minimum distinct categories to show on the pie chart, because see, you cannot easily identify the difference, okay, with this slice of a pie, in this pie chart when they are very much similar in size. So you cannot, just by looking at that, you cannot say that, okay, this red one, which is labels, how much is the sales? Here it is 12,695. Here it is 16,528. But still, you cannot visually identify the difference if you have more categories. So instead of subcategory, if I take uh, category, again category into labels. So this is fine. Okay, this looks okay, because here you can easily read the difference. Okay, so always use the pie chart where you have this kind of distinct chart or distinct labels into this, where the users can easily understand where is the bigger pie and where is the smaller pie. Again, these three slices, without labels, it looks like of the same size. And if you don't add the labels, again, it would be difficult for the user to understand where is the higher sales, right? But the good part with the Tableau 8, even if you don't add the labels, by just hovering the cursor onto this particular slices, you can able to get the information. Okay, and if you go to the advanced, as soon as you open this new file into this. Uh, Second, I'll just close all this off. If you open up as soon as you open up, here you will get uh, watch how to videos, get started with Tableau Public, explore some sample data sets. So go to this, read the blog. Okay, and today's Viz, trending Vizes, Viz of the Day archive. So all that kind of useful links, you will find it on the right hand side of this particular Tableau Public. Okay, you can go to this particular link. You will find all the tutorials, step by step videos, for doing multiple things. So this is this in this course we just want to introduce the Tableau. It's not like with these 4 or 5 classes you will become an expert, but I have shown you at a high level that what all things could be possible with the Tableau. We started with like how we can connect the data sources. So in the Tableau desktop, you will find hundreds of data sources which you can connect with just a click of a button and by entering your credentials. So in the enterprise or the enterprise edition, you can easily integrate with your enterprise data sources, databases, data warehouses. Okay, be it on cloud or be it on on-prem, with just a click of a button, you can able to connect with those data sources. And once the data is there, in the enterprise edition, you will also have Tableau Prep. Okay, that is primarily for people who are into data preparation or who are into ETL side. So all those with by using data prep, you can build data models. You can integrate multiple data sets. You can perform some kind of transformations on the data. All that is possible in data prep. Now, once you load the data into Tableau desktop, now this is where you can go and analyze the data. And we have seen how we can create a calculated fields, how we can generate some derived fields out of the existing fields. And then we have seen that how we can use multiple features and the functionalities of the Tableau to build a quick charts. Now, once you and there are different kinds of charts, right? Again, it's an ocean. You can build as many different charts as possible. So here, in this particular chart, I changed the so when you say dual axis, here you will find two different cards, right? So here I've taken profit and one of the axis and sales in one of the axis. It's up to you know how you want to show each of these dimensions. Either you can have both as a line. Okay, go here and change it to line, so both could be line. And if you want to change one as a bar and another as a line, just go to these cards and change that into bar. Okay. So now this is wrong because now bar is kind of hiding the line graph. So you have to take the profit as bar and sales as line. Okay. So this is how you have to adjust the axis. Yeah, we forgot to see the map. Okay, so map is very simple. So as I mentioned, if you have any column, which represent the geographical location, automatically Tableau picks up uh, as a location column. So I'll show you. So wherever you see this globe sign, okay, so that means those can be used, for creating a map chart. Okay, maps. So just go here. Firstly, we will go with the state, uh, and then I will take profit. It's not coming. Let me take something else. Second. Okay. It's not coming. Some problem with state, I guess. So let me try with city. It's showing Salem. Let me try here, this data. What is it coming? Uh, State and then sorry, my bad. Uh, Not coming. State. Let me figure it out. Okay. City is working, but sales is not. State is not coming. I don't know. This map probably. See this. This is a OpenStreetMap, and probably it is not connected. So it takes an API, and based on the API, it generates. It locates all this state. So you can try in your system. I'm not sure. Why this is. So this is not there in the data, but still it is showing as Salem. So I'm not sure. What's the problem. So let me figure it out. Okay, what's the problem? Okay, so map you can generate. I have. So this is how it should look like. Okay. So here I just took state, which is in details, and you know, country. I want it as a tooltip, so I put it in the. I've added here. And this is how it looks like. And this colors represents your profit. So if you create this kind of map, easily people can locate, like, in which particular state the profits are high and in which states the profit are less. So with this gradient of color, you can easily see that this California is doing more profits and this Texas is kind of, is having a lower profit. These are in losses. So now the business users or the CXOs, if they look at this data, they can make a strategic decision like what's wrong in this particular state and why the profits are low, and then they can take a strategic decision based on that. Okay, and you can even show the cities here. Okay, so if you add cities here, cities cannot be because these are all states. The boundaries are states. So states something, okay, it can easily represent with a shape, but the cities will be shown as the dots. Okay, and I have added on the see, I've added on the size of these points. I've added sales. So wherever you are seeing a bigger circles, that means there the sales are higher. Okay, and the color represents the profit. Okay, I select all. So this is how it looks like. Though the points are quite low, so what you can do is go to this size and increase the size, then it would be readable. But if you keep on increasing the size, then it will overlap other points, right? So you have to be you have to be little careful, like in selecting the sizes of these points. Yeah, so basically we don't recommend, for cities use the maps, because if there are more cities and if there are nearby cities, it's very hard, to identify the difference between these points if they are very much similar. If you have a very distinct points of sizes and even the locations are very distinct, then you can go ahead with this map chart. But if they are overlapped, if they are nearby, then the city, then map is not the right option. So for the state, for the countries, you can go with the map. But for the cities, if you are having more number of cities, just avoid this chart. Okay, so what else? Now, I'll show you, sometimes when the data, you're not sure, what chart to use, you can go with just a table. Okay, so we call as a uh, crosstab. So crosstab is like when you have certain rows and the columns and you want to show some values to it. For example, let me take a subcategory in the columns and chip mode in the rows. Okay, and I can fill these values with any dimensions. Okay, so for example, I want to take it as a quantity. I'll put it as in the text. So this will become my cross tab. What else you can do is you can add some more information to this particular tab. You can profit into the colors. Okay, so this is how you can look. You can build a cross tab. Cross tab is just a table where you can add the values and create some kind of a table. It's a cross tabulation of the data. Okay, and if you have two features, you can also build a scatter plot. For example, if I take profit and the sale and put order ID into details. So this is known as scatter plot. In the linear regression, we have seen, right? If you want to find out the relationship between the two continuous variables, we plotted the scatter plot, right? So this will show how the sales and the profit, these are related to each other. Is it a linear relationship or is it a upward or downward relationship? As we are increasing the sales, whether my profits are increasing or not. This is the thing you can get it. And good part with this is you can add a trend lines. So show trend lines. So this will give you a regression line, okay, automatically just by click of a button. Look at this. It is giving you the equation. Like profit is equal to 0.17 times sales plus this is an intercept, which is 22.792. So this is giving the equation of the straight line, which is fitting onto this particular scatter plot. But can we rely on this particular equation to predict profit? If we have the sales number, probably not, because the R squared value is quite low, which is 0.23. And you know what is R squared. So R squared is a measure which tells us how much variance is being captured by this regression line. But is sales significant for, or is it having a significant relationship with the profit? Yes, because the p-value is less than 0.0001. So if the p-value is less than 0.05, we know that that particular variable is significant. So this is a good thing, which they have added recently to this particular tableau. You can able to understand how is it. I will show you another thing. Order idea sales. If you go to analytics, they forecast. Yes, if you drag and drop, it will give you the forecast also. So it will automatically, but if you want to change, uh, so if you go to the forecast option, here you can adjust, what you want. Okay, so it is taking automatically for next 13 months. So you can define what horizon you want, for forecasting. And it is giving you 90% confidence interval also. So these are all point estimates. Okay, the darker blue line. Okay, and this the shaded region is the confidence interval. Okay, so it is giving by months. So whatever you want by years, by quarters, by months. Okay, so you can able to, and this will also help you to do the imputation as well. If you say fill in missing values with zeros, so it will do that wherever there is a gap. So this you will find it in analytics. And very useful. Like if you are building a line, if you are showing a line chart which explains the trend and the seasonality of a particular dimension over the period, then it's okay, it's we cannot evaluate whether these forecasts are good or bad, but you can just for an indication purpose, you can add this forecast, into this line chart. It will give you some kind of a forecast of the future horizon. Okay. And these are all, things which you can add. For example, if I want to add a constant line here, so I can select where I want the constant line. Okay, and accordingly, it will go and uh, put that line here. So here I have, so, so January 1st I have taken, if I put it as 21, so it will put it here. Okay. So, so that's how, you can add the constant line. Uh, okay, just play with it. You know, Very interesting tool. There's a lot of options. So people, who are in the Tableau field for years together, even they are still learning. So this Tableau is such a evolving tool that every year they introduce some more or the other thing, into this particular tool. So I use this particular tool around 12 years back. Okay. So, but since then and now, there is a big change in particular tool. So they have kind of introduce so many things. So they take the feedback of the users very seriously. So at that time, there was a Tableau community, okay, which was very active. At that, when they introduced this Tableau, people adopted this, but we find some of the challenges while using this Tableau. And community, you can just go and say that, okay, if it would have got this particular feature, it would have been a great tool. And immediately within weeks, okay, they will add that particular feature. So that's how, over the period of time, this platform got so evolved that you just name it, whatever you want to do on this particular tool could be possible. Okay. And you can go and ask for the help in that particular Tableau community. You will, some or the other person, will come and, give you some solution around it. So, if you are interested on this particular Tableau, go for it. Otherwise, just with a basic understanding, just for your profile, in your profile, if you add this Tableau as one of the platform or one of the skill, so definitely it will add value to your profile, because one visualization tool is always required for the data scientist to showcase in the profile. Okay. So, finally, let me show you how we can build a dashboard. Again, as I mentioned, the dashboard cannot be built within few minutes. You need a lot of patience, and you need a lot of creativity, to basically, to design this particular, to design the dashboard. Just give me a second, guys. Sorry, guys. Okay, so when it comes to desktop dashboard, when you click on this particular option, you will find all the charts appearing here. All the sheets which we have, just a second, guys. All the charts will, whatever you have created will appear here. You just need to drag and drop and use this particular canvas to design your dashboard. But this is not as simple as this, but just dragging and dropping will not serve your purpose. You have to come up with a complete story, how you want to stitch this particular dashboard together, how you want to show the charts, and all that particular story should appear in this particular dashboard. And then you can add a global filters on top of it, which you can use, to control this particular dashboard. For example, if there are any filters there in that particular sheet, there it is, subcategory. Floating. So I can add as many filters as I want, and I can apply to all the worksheets. So if you go and apply any the filter on this, automatically it will get reflected. If you want the legend to be shown, then have it. If whatever you don't know, you just remove it. Automatically from the sheet, everything, all the objects will come and will appear in this particular dashboard. Make it as floating and put it here somewhere. And this is something you can remove. This particular legend, you can take it and put it wherever it is required. If it is not required, then just remove it. And you can add borders here. Border is null here. So if you are adding borders, okay. And so here, dashboard, show title. You can add some title here. Okay, so this is how designing. You're seeing this lot of work you have to do. For designing, you have to go and change the title here, put it as sales by uh, by date. By, okay, so like that you can go and change, whatever uh, titles you want to put it for each of these charts. And the good part with this is like you can even, in fact, you can use charts as filters. So, for example, I want to use this particular chart as a filter. So here you're seeing the filter option, right? So you can use it as a filter. So instead of having this particular filter, you can use this as a filter. So if you're seeing you are clicking on this, so it is completely getting interactive. Okay. So this is how you can control your dashboard. So a lot of things you have to keep it in mind that the story needs to be stitched properly. There shouldn't be any redundant information. It has to be interactive. Wherever it is possible, you have to include the drill down option. And what else? The legends. has to be common for the color theme has to be common for across the dashboards. All that things you have to keep it in mind. Again, if you are adding the filters, make sure that those filters are required or not. If that can be controlled or that um, can be done, using chart as a filter. So no need of adding those filters. So what borders in terms of aesthetics, it's very important. It has to be clear. Um, it has to be, there shouldn't be any kind of a clutterness in your dashboard. All these things you have to keep in mind. Of option, you can have basically background. You can add any kind of a background like this. So 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 many options. So it cannot be um, discussed in few classes. Um, and you can select the device type, the layout, all those things you can do. Always make sure that it should not be there shouldn't be any kind of a drill down which should appear in your chart. Um, and it has to be a single chart which should fit the screen. Okay, so I'll take a pause here. I'm getting a ping from my office. Okay, so I'll wrap up here. Okay, we will connect tomorrow because I have a meeting at 10. Because of that, people are reaching out to me. Is that fine? So we'll connect tomorrow.
Yes, Srikanth.
All right, so keep practicing, okay? And if you have any questions, then let me know. All right, thank you guys.